Great Odin's raven!
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
This is ridiculous. Okay, I'll go.
Hello and welcome to Film Pulse Weekly, episode 11. My name is Adam.
And I'm Kevin.
And today we're going to be talking about the new Joss Whedon, Drew Goddard film, The Cabin in the Woods. We also have Ryan with us to talk about the 1993 film Fortress, starring Christopher Lambert, in honor of Lockout that came out this Friday. And finally, we'll be making some of our predictions for this week's opening films. Let's first go over some of what we watched this week. Kevin, what's on your list?
I just finished, not but 10 minutes ago, Monsieur Lazhar, the Canadian film that was nominated for an Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film, and it was pretty damn good.
It looks really good.
Yeah, I was a little skeptical at first because I'm sort of, I don't know about you, but I'm sort of tired of the whole inspirational teacher movie.
Ugh, yeah, I don't like those.
It's sort of been done a bit too often, but I have to say that this was very well done.
Now this is French Canadian, right?
And somewhat different than all of those other movies. It starts off with it's a pretty dark. Let's just say that one of the first scenes is one of the small children. It takes place at I want to say elementary school, and kid's taking milk to his classroom, and the door is locked, and you just see that his teacher is hanging from the ceiling.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's how it starts off. And, the kids are trying to deal with it, and, of course, they hire, a psychiatrist, to try and help the kids out. And they are looking for a replacement, can't find anyone, and then an Algerian man comes in for the job, and he's dealing with his own tragedy where he lost his family in Algeria because his wife published a book that they did not take too kindly to. So it's sort of, the kids sort of teach him about grieving, and he at the same time teaches them, and it has a little twist at the end.
Sounds pretty good. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's extremely, I want to say, it's a very heartwarming film, but also just very honest and mature. The kids are very mature in it.
Do you want to try to pronounce the writer and director's name?
No, I don't. But I'm going to try anyways. Here we go. Philip Falardeau?
We'll go with it.
Falardeau? I don't know, man.
I think it might be Philippe.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I don't know how the French do that. But also, watching this movie, I'm sort of biased to French movies because I could just listen to the French language all day. All day. It's just the best. And the music, the soundtrack for the movie was very good as well.
And you'll be doing a review for us for that?
Yeah. Yes, I will. I will be starting that when I'm done this podcast.
Cool. So we'll have that up on the site shortly. First movie I saw this week was Badass, the Danny Trejo film. It's on demand right now. What to say about this? It's not good. Don't bother with it. It's based on a YouTube video. So that... Yeah, I don't know if you saw there's a YouTube video that's been floating around for a few years where this older gentleman beats up this guy that's bullying some people on a bus, and he kind of turns into this internet sensation. And they decide to make a movie about it. It's written and directed by a guy named Craig Moss. The only other credits that he has are a movie that he came out with last year called Breaking Wind, which is a parody film of the Twilight movies. It's like one of those scary movies. He also did a movie called The 41-Year-Old Virgin Who Knocked Up Sarah Marshall and felt super bad about it.
Oh, he's the guy that did that.
Yep. So, not a lot to work with there. The movie Badass is probably better than those two movies, but it's not good. Like, when I was watching it for like the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I couldn't tell if they were trying to be serious or if they were trying to be funny. It was like completely unclear.
Why? What? Ron Perlman makes some questionable decisions.
Yeah, he's kind of hit or miss. I mean, he makes a lot of good stuff, and I love him in Sons of Anarchy. But in this movie, he's barely in this movie. He's kind of the main bad guy, but at the same time, he's not really in it too much. He plays the mayor of the town that they're in, and it's just all around really bad. It's not worth seeing.
Can you tell me more about the character Sluggy Cornnuts?
I don't know. I don't remember who that is.
Oh, he's played by Danny Woodburn.
Oh, I do know who he is. He's the neighbor of this girl that Badass is trying to track down. He's only in it for like 2 seconds. He's not really in it too much.
Danny Woodburn, for those that people don't know, was Mickey on Seinfeld.
Yeah, Mickey on Seinfeld.
What are they? Ooh,
little person.
Little person. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a definite skip.
Are you kidding me?
It's terrible.
What number would you give that?
Out of 10, I would probably give it a 3.
3.
Yeah. We are going to be reviewing it for the site. I'm not reviewing it, but I have one of our contributors reviewing it, so I think he said that'll be up within the next couple days.
And then he'll quit.
Yeah. I gotta stop giving these guys terrible movies to review. I really do.
They gotta stop making them.
I guess that's what it is. The second movie I saw this week was Cabin in the Woods, and we're gonna be talking about that in detail later this episode. And I also saw The Raid Redemption. This is...
And I have to say, I hate you for it.
This is not only the best martial arts movie I have ever seen, and that's a strong statement coming from me because I love martial arts films. Even better than Enter the Dragon, dare I say it. Mm-hmm. This movie is so good. I loved every second of this movie, and the problem with a lot of action movies like this is it's all style, no substance. You have... It's like, a lot of people kind of equate these types of films with porn, where you go in for one purpose, and everything else is just filler. Mm-hmm. And with this movie, everything is done superbly. The acting, the camera work. I mean, the camera work is incredible in this movie. Everything about it is just phenomenal. And I cannot recommend this movie enough.
Yeah, because usually a lot of those action movies is like the in-between parts are just sort of like setting it up. Just setting it up. Like, they're going to fight soon. Here's some filler. Little... Oh, there's a wall. Here comes that guy. They're going to fight.
And there are certainly lulls in the action in this movie. But the cool thing about how they do it is, in the beginning of the movie, there's about 5 minutes of setup. That's all you need. It's a group of SWAT guys raiding this tenement building that's owned by this crime lord, and that's all you need to know. As far as character development, they kind of set that up as the movie progresses. So during these crazy action scenes, you can feel the characters' personalities coming out, and you start to learn who the characters are as the action is unfolding, which is a really, really great way to kind of truncate everything into just one just amazing film.
I think I do remember reading, I think I read it in Film Comment, which tipped me off that this is probably going to be an insanely good action movie is I think for like 6 months they rehearsed, all the choreography before they started filming.
And I'll tell you, that's the other thing that just blew me away with this movie was the choreography. I've never seen anything like it. It's an Indonesian film, but it's actually directed by a Welsh guy. His name's Gareth Evans. But he's done 2 or 3 other Indonesian films. The martial arts style that they use is something that I've never seen before, and I'm not sure if it's in any other movies other than what this guy's directed previously. But it's really, really cool. And the way that they mix the gunplay with the hand-to-hand stuff, there's a lot of knife combat in it too. It's realistic in that when they first, go into the building, they have all these guns and stuff, but as they're moving up, they're running out of ammo and they have to resort to using knives and fists and stuff. And the action in it is like nothing you've ever seen before. It will blow your mind. Like I said, the choreography is just stupendous. I don't know how they did it because a lot of the fight scenes are really long and very, very detailed and intricate, involving a lot of people, and it's just amazing how they were able to film it. And
what is the martial arts that they use?
It's called like Silac or something, or Pen. I'm not exactly sure because there's 2 main martial arts styles in Indonesia, and the main one is actually a combination of the 2.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it's just one of the 2 that they have in the movie, because I've actually read a couple different reviews that talk about it, and some of them said that it's what's it called? Pencak Silat, and then some of them just said that it's Silat. So I'm not exactly sure which one or combination of those styles, but it's really cool to watch. If you've ever seen Ong Bak, that was really the first type of movie that had the Muay Thai fighting, where there was a lot of elbows and knees being thrown and stuff, and that was okay, but it wasn't that fun to watch. With this, this fighting style focuses a lot on really close combat, and there's a ton of knife combat, and that's something, the way that they handled knives was something that was completely unique to this movie.
Okay, it is called Pencak Silat.
Yeah.
It's an umbrella term for the martial arts from Indonesia.
And I think, like I said, I think that that's a combination of those two different styles that they kind of use as the main style. But
yeah. What I'm reading here is that Pencak was used in like the central and the east, and then Silat was used in another region of Indonesia, and then they just sort of formed the 2 of them.
Yeah, but go see this. If it's playing in your city, and it's been having a staggered release schedule, so it just came out here in Florida this past Friday, but it is coming out in more theaters every week, so if it's not playing in your area, just keep an eye out. It is absolutely a must-see. One funny thing, when we went to go see this, there was an elderly couple that came into the theater right before the movie started, and they sat directly behind us, and I leaned over to my girlfriend and I said, these people are walking out of this movie. They don't know what they're getting into. And they made it maybe 30 minutes, and which is funny because, I said that there's a 5-minute setup at the beginning of the movie. Right after that, they introduce the villain of the film, and it is such a brutally violent scene. And the couple made it through that, but then once the action really started ramping up, they were done. They just left.
Oh, that's great.
But I cannot say enough about it. Our review, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, but the more I think about the movie, and the more I want to go see it again in the theater, kind of tells me that I might have to up my score to an actual 9.
Oh, that brings up a question that I wanted to ask you. Do you find it hard to give newer movies 10s when you're watching them?
Absolutely.
Because you don't want to give it to them right off the bat because you want to see how they, stand the test of time.
Yeah, it's such a coveted score, and even a 9 is hard for me to give out. But I honestly think I'm going to give The Raid a 9, and I gave Cabin in the Woods an 8, and the more I think about that movie, I might up my score to like an 8.5 on that one. Mm-hmm. Not a 9, but an 8.5 maybe.
But then also, how do you do this? Like, when you do The Raid Redemption, do you base it on just the film itself, or do you base it in the genre of
when I do reviews, I base them off of all movies, not just the specific genre that movie's in. Okay. I try to look at what we on the site have reviewed previously and just kind of base it off of that. Okay. If I was basing this movie just off of the martial arts or action genre, it'd be a 10. Okay. Because that's what I wanted to know. There is no movie that is touching this movie. It is on a completely different level.
Now, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Gareth Evans is going to direct or have some part in the American remake?
He might. I don't know. I mean, I actually don't know a whole lot about the American remake. It's terrible. It's a terrible idea.
Yeah, the only thing I'm seeing is on IMDb under Gareth Evans. You know how they have the projects in development off to the side? Mm-hmm. It says The Raid 2014. But there's no subtitle, so I don't know if it's a sequel or if they're going to do an American remake. How that's going to work.
I don't know. He might be the type of guy that does that, where he does the original and then he does something with the American remake. But he's working on 2 sequels for the original, so it might be hard for him to do 2 sequels and the American remake.
Yeah, well. Maybe it's just like a consultant on the American remake.
I don't know.
Which would make it even worse.
I have a feeling that the American remake of it is just going to be awful.
Oh, I'm getting so sick and tired of that. As soon as a foreign movie comes out, American remake.
Yeah.
Now without reading.
Yeah. Now with all white people as all the action stars.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. This movie, white
people don't know Penchak Salat.
Actually, you know what's funny? There is a white guy in the SWAT team.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, he looks white. I don't know if he is, but he definitely looks white. Okay. Did you see any other movies this week?
Just Cabin in the Woods.
Okay. We'll come back to that. The only other movie I saw this week was on demand. It was called Jesus Henry Christ.
I just looked that up because I saw that you saw that, and that looks somewhat interesting. But I'm very skeptical because is this another movie where the kid is wise beyond his years and like a little super genius type deal?
That doesn't even touch the surface of what this kid is. He has... Okay, so basically the film stars Toni Collette. She has this son who is basically a super genius. He can remember everything that he sees and everything that he reads. Okay. I mean, it's like superhuman, this kid's abilities.
I already dislike him immensely. I'm so sick and tired of that.
Yeah, he's not as annoying as like the kid in Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, but he is kind of annoying. And basically it's just about him trying to locate his father, who's played by Michael Sheen, and sort of rekindle their relationship. It's filmed in a very quirky way, as a lot of these movies seem to be going.
Just looking at the poster, it looks quirky.
Yeah, there's a lot of cutaways and like Wes Anderson type things happening where it's funny, but at the same time there's some serious parts to it. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, it's okay. It wasn't great. I was mildly entertained by it, but like you said, I'm just a little tired of these types of movies.
I'm reading here that it was originally a short.
Yes, the writer and director Dennis Lee did the original short, I believe.
Okay.
And this guy, Dennis Lee, he did I guess it wasn't last year's movie, but he did a movie called Fireflies in the Garden that was critically panned in every aspect. And this has a huge cast in it, but
yeah, it does.
Critics,
it's based off of a Robert Frost poem.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
And critics ripped this apart. So I didn't see it, but from what I read, it wasn't very good.
Yeah, I don't know. And the funny thing is that anytime I see Robert Frost, I just think Bob Frost. Bob Frost.
Bob Frost.
I just imagine Roberto Benigni saying Bob Frost from Down by Law.
Oh my! Let's. You want to do some Ryan watches a movie?
Of course, always, forever.
All right, let's get it going. This is Ryan Watches a Movie, where we get our friend Ryan to watch a movie and report back to us on if it was good or not.
Oh no, Carl. Little kids got naked and had lots of sex.
Welcome back, Ryan. What movie do we have you watch this week?
The Fortress.
The Fortress or just Fortress?
Not the Fortress. Fortress.
Starting off great.
I have a quick question. When we do the intro to that, is it recorded that Ryan's laughing, or does Ryan just laugh every time?
No,
we
just laugh every
I
time.
laugh.
Okay.
So this week we gave you 1993's Fortress, starring Christopher Lambert. This is in honor of Lockout coming out this week, the Guy Pearce future jail movie. Let's go ahead and, I was going to pick Escape from New York because that's the obvious choice when looking at Lockout, but I think we all probably saw that movie, and I actually like Escape from New York quite a bit. So let me read the IMDb synopsis here. It's a futuristic prison movie. That's the first sentence. Protagonist and wife are nabbed at a future U.S. immigration point with an illegal baby during population control. The resulting prison experience is the subject of the movie.
It's fucking ridiculous.
The prison is a futuristic one run by a private corporation bent on mind control in various ways. Probably.
Oh shit! Why would the prison not be futuristic if it's a futuristic prison movie?
This is.
I just want to go through the plot keywords and then the tagline because I like this a lot. And when I go through the plot keywords, try and guess why I like it so much. Escape, prisoner, laser, mixed martial arts, escaped convict. And then the tagline is a prison of the future, a high-tech hell built to hold anything except an innocent man.
Ooh.
Except Christopher Lambert.
Oh my. This is
I just like that they have laser.
Laser is a keyword.
I'm clicking on it to see what other movies pop up.
There are many lasers in this movie.
Nah, okay. Lasers are actually a character in the movie. This is directed by Stuart Gordon. He didn't do a whole lot. He's not a very prolific name, I would say. He did Reanimator, which is a pretty great movie, and the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV show. And he did a bunch of other stuff too. But this is one of these movies that has like 25 writers. It was written by Troy Neighbors, Steven Feinberg, David Venable, Terry Curtis Fox. So we got 4 writers on this.
4 writers can't make a good movie.
generally, if there's a lot of writers on a movie, it's usually a bad sign.
Yeah, because I wonder how many of those are actually rewrites.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of them are rewrites. I think the general exception to the rule is probably Pixar, because usually Pixar movies have like 5 writers, and they usually turn out pretty good. But we have a trailer here. This is 1993's Fortress.
Oh no.
30 stories below ground, halfway to hell, and no way out.
What did they give you? 31 years.
You are about to enter the fortress, a privately owned maximum security prison operated by the Mentel Corporation.
John Brunick, the most decorated captain in the history of the Black Beret.
Prisoner 95763, step forward to be intestinated.
You have nothing. You are nothing.
We will monitor your behavior.
I don't think you realize your predicament. You have nowhere to hide.
We will control your thoughts.
The law is clear. We must maintain the population balance.
We will invade your dreams.
This is an unauthorized thought process.
Okay.
I think I just realized something when the woman announcer's talking, like the prisoner numbers. I think that's used in an LP song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he probably... Because he's like a huge Blade Runner fan, so I'm sure he's probably a Fortress fan as well. Or he's making fun of Fortress.
Either one.
Or he at least saw Fortress.
The voice, one of the main voices you heard in that trailer is Kirkwood Smith.
He should stick to that 70s show and not make movies.
Yeah, he's Red from that 70s show. He was also the bad guy in RoboCop.
Yeah, and
if you remember that.
He was in a movie I watched a few weeks ago. Can't remember what it was, but it was a movie for you guys.
Oh, really?
And he was in it.
He does a lot of stuff. He does a lot of stuff.
Oh, did you also notice that Clifton Collins Jr. is in this movie?
Yeah, now, I didn't think he was that old. I thought Clifton Collins Jr. was like he must have been really young, I would say. Do you know who that is, Ryan?
He played Nino Gomez. He was born in 1970.
Yes.
Wow.
Is that the douchebag from Boondock Saints still?
Yes.
From
yes. Yep.
Yeah, he was in Boondock Saints, too, unfortunately. I actually like him.
Another movie that should have not been made.
Why don't you tell us about the plot of Fortress, Ryan?
Basically, Christopher Lambert, I need to start off by saying a few things. Okay. First of all, when you watch this movie, there's no title screen at all. None. It doesn't tell you what the title of the movie is for the entire duration of the movie.
Nice.
It's not there. Second of all, this movie, it's f***ing ridiculous. Christopher Lambert also looks a lot like, who am I thinking of? The guy from Hong and...
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god, why am I drawing a complete blank right now? Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
I don't know if he looks like that overall or just in this movie.
He looks like a mix between Thomas Jane and Steven Seagal.
Yeah, kind of like a young Steven Seagal.
Like
not the bloated one.
Yeah, a non-existent, thin Steven Seagal.
Well, when you look at the poster for Fortress, he really looks like Thomas Jane there.
Yeah.
The next thing I'd say is that 5 minutes into this, you see a plethora of penis.
Nice alliteration.
And, I'm pretty sure, I didn't slow it down at all, but I'm pretty sure that you see Christopher Lambert's wiener, and then like 10 minutes later, he's having a dream, and him and his wife are having sex, and I'm pretty sure you can see his ball sack.
How was it? How was Christopher Lambert's ball sack in this movie?
Absolutely terrible.
I love that's what he remembers.
Tell us about the plot of the movie. Well, there's a lot of wiener.
It starts off with, this is the reason I love Ryan's reviews, because it starts off with, there's no title card, and then there's penises.
You're so descriptive.
That's all he had. That's all he had to say.
So basically, Christopher Lambert, his wife, he impregnates his wife for the second time. And they live in a society where you can only have one kid. So they both get thrown in this jail. Meanwhile, she's like still pregnant the whole time. I don't understand why. If you were going to jail someone, why would you allow them to keep their child? The reason that they're in jail. They both get thrown in this jail. His wife is in top level, and he is in like the 31st level or something. And he is thrown in a cell with, this is like a cell that is probably the size of what normal jail cells that I've seen on TV. And there's 5 people in it.
It's rough.
And there's 5 people in all. But anyway, they insert some kind of, like, I don't, it's called an intestinator in the movie. But basically, they force you to swallow this little mechanical thing, and they can control your behavior and kill you if they'd like.
Ooh.
They just make it explode.
That's...
So they go through and, you know, general things not pertaining to the story happen. And then after that, they figure out how to get this intestinator out of their stomach. So him and like 4 other people get him out of their stomach. And they use them, like when they're set off, they blow things up. And they use them to blow a hole in this heating duct. And when they blow a hole in the heating duct, Crowd Smith, who's the like prison person, is like the main prison guy. He like turns on steam so that they can't go anywhere.
Good idea.
Crowd Smith also takes Christopher Lambert's wife and like tries to sleep with her basically. And raise the child as his own. That fails. It all fails.
That sounds like a pretty dedicated warden.
Yeah.
And they eventually end up taking over the prison and escaping. And after they escape, the best thing happens. It's Christopher Lambert, his wife, and the guy from Midnight Saints. And they're out in the middle of nowhere in some like remote barn, and his wife gives birth to their child. Well, when they escape, they use an 18-wheeler to drive away. While they're giving birth, or while she's giving birth, the 18-wheeler comes to life. And
What?
Yeah, you heard me correctly. It turns into fucking Transformers. And the car, like, tries to kill everyone. And
What? It sounds like you just made all of this up.
No, I did not. Watch with me.
I want to now.
Christopher Lambert. Alright. When the truck comes to life, Christopher Lambert tries to shoot it with a machine gun. And that fails. So he
Yeah.
gets a flamethrower, and
Better idea.
yeah, somehow that deters the truck and makes it drive into a building and blow up.
Oh.
So shooting it with a flamethrower made it drive into a wall?
Correct.
So it sounds like at the end of the movie it turns into Maximum Overdrive. Do you remember that movie with Emilio Estevez?
I do.
That movie was one of those ones that they always played it on like sci-fi on TV.
Yeah.
I do have to point out that Fortress won the Saturn Award for Best Science Fiction Film at the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films.
I don't...
Or no, it was nominated. I'm sorry, it didn't win.
I wonder what won that year. 93.
I know.
Bro.
No,
I love the fact that every time you say crawl, it sounds exactly the same.
Yeah. So Fortress got a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. It takes place in 2017. So, like, how futuristic is it? I mean, that's only 5 years from now. So
that part of it, it's not too, like, aside from the truck coming alive and trying to kill them, nothing crazy, like, insane, unbelievable.
So there's, like, no flying cars or anything like that?
No.
Ooh, update. Fortress lost out in 1994 to Jurassic Park in Best Science Fiction Film.
Oh.
I bet that was a close one. I love how the two of them were nominated side by side. That's the best part.
You want to know what else was nominated? To, full circle here. RoboCop 3.
RoboCop 3?
Yeah.
That was the worst one.
Demolition Man, Fire in the Sky, Man's Best Friend, The Meteor Man.
A meteor? What is this? Supposed to be the worst? Because all those movies are horrible. I did like Fire in the Sky, but the other ones were ridiculous.
I think I liked Demolition Man when I was a little kid, but it's a f***ing stupid movie.
You liked what? Demolition Man?
Yeah, when I was little.
I think I did too.
I'm sure we all did. I mean, it's got Stallone, Wesley Snipes.
And it's like, I think it's like virtual reality. Remember how that was like real big in the 90s?
Oh, that was huge.
The Lawnmower Man and Johnny Mnemonic and all those.
Good times. Yeah. Good times. The 90s were awesome.
They were. Anything else to add about Fortress, Ryan?
It's f***ing retarded. Don't waste your time watching it.
Tell us what you really feel.
It's whatever.
So you're saying I shouldn't gift this to you on Blu-ray?
They make this on Blu-ray.
I believe they do.
Oh,
this is what you're getting. This is what you're getting for Christmas.
Oh,
dear Lord.
I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure. Amazon has it.
I'm getting you all of the 1994 Saturn Film Award nominees for Best Science Fiction Film.
Meteor Man.
On Blu-ray.
Like, yeah. I remember that movie. That movie was really bad. Who was the...
Eddie Murphy.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. I'm looking at it.
It was somebody... It wasn't Eddie Murphy, but it was somebody else.
But I want you when he does the Robert Townsend.
Really?
Yes, Robert Townsend.
There you go.
Written and directed and starred. Robert Townsend.
Meteor Man. I remember I had a poster for Meteor Man.
Terrifically entertaining. I like Robert Townsend, though. I actually like him.
I like him, but Meteor Man?
No. I'm not going to go that far.
Oh, my. All right, Ryan. I'm going to give you a drum roll.
Wait.
Go ahead.
I also want him, when he rates the movie, I also want him to rate Christopher Lambert's ballsack.
Should I include that? Should I make it a combo score? Or should I make it just 1 and 1?
No, you go the Fortress score and then say slash and then the ballsack score.
Alright.
Because I know that you scored it in your head when you were at home.
You're thinking about it. You were thinking about the Lambert sack. Alright, so as you know, Ryan, I'm going to play the drum roll. While the drum roll is playing, you announce the score.
It doesn't matter how much I know. I'm still going to f*** this up.
You sure are.
All right.
That's why we love you.
Ryan, what do you give Fortress?
Fortress slash.
Why?
I think that from now on, when you do the drum roll, it should be a little softer.
Okay.
Because I did hear him, but
yeah, I heard him say. I heard him say Fortress slash.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear. All right, let's try it again.
Three.
Okay, now I made it softer that time, but he didn't say anything. It wasn't that we just didn't hear him; he just didn't say anything.
It's back to his original problem.
Fortress slash ball sack.
All right.
I'll give it to me.
So that's a 3 on both accounts?
Ball sack 1 maybe. We'll give it a 4. Ball sack 1, movie 3.
Okay. All right.
God.
3. Very nice.
Ryan, you're the best.
So that's a 3 out of 10 for 1990.
3 or 4? Is it a 4?
Is it a 4
3
or
or 4?
3?
3?
It's a 4.
4?
I thought you said
Is it 4 and then -1 for the ball sack?
Yes.
2 or 3? 2 or 3.
Okay, so the final score is a 3. Okay.
Gotcha.
There you have it. 1993's Fortress with Christopher Lambert. 3 out of 10 on the Ryan scale. Thank you very much for being with us again, Ryan. We'll have you back next week for another fantastic movie.
The Ryan scale is the only scale that matters.
Yep. That's the only
Catchphrase.
one you need to go by. All right. Thank you very much, Ryan.
Not a problem.
We'll see you next week.
See you later.
I would like to talk a minute about Amazon. At this point in the show, we always talk about Amazon, and today I'm going to go over some of the notable DVD and Blu-ray sales that are on Amazon right now. All you got to do to help us out is go onto our site at filmpulse.net, click on the Amazon banner on the right side, and shop as you would normally.
My wife did that today.
Nice.
She Amazon today, and I'm actually going to Amazon later today.
Is that like a new term, Amazoning?
Yeah, that's what me and my wife call it. For real.
Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me that. That's right.
Yeah, she got 5 books for $13. Are you kidding me?
There you go.
Kidding me? I'm getting one. I'm going to get some books, whatnots.
You can also go to our Film Pulse store where we have some of the DVD and Blu-ray releases that we talk about during the week on the site and on the show. One thing I'd like to mention, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. 2-disc Blu-ray DVD combo, $7.99 on Amazon.
See? That's why you call it Amazon. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. The Godfather Collection Blu-ray. This is the Coppola restoration.
Okay.
Now, I actually have this, and it is a phenomenal Blu-ray. It's $35.99.
For all 3?
For all of them, plus it's got a ton of special features. It has like a booklet with it.
What?
Yeah, it's totally worth it. And speaking of Joss Whedon, who we're going to talk about in just a second, Serenity DVD, Blu-ray combo, and digital copy for $8.49.
What?
So,
see,
now, I don't know if you've ever seen Serenity, but
I've not.
It's good. Like,
I'd have to admit that I haven't seen much by Joss Whedon.
I haven't seen a ton of his stuff, but
I'm not a big Joss Whedon fan.
I am a fan of his. Serenity's definitely good. I think you would like that. No, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Let's talk about Cabin in the Woods.
Let's.
Now, what we're going to do, we're going to get into a lot of spoilers. It's really impossible to talk about this movie without spoiling everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in the show notes the time code of when we start talking about the spoilers, and then you can just kind of skip over it or fast forward through, and then we'll put the end. So let's talk about what we generally thought about the movie first, and then we'll get into some details and then talk about some spoilers with it. Okay. So for those of you that are unaware, Cabin in the Woods, the movie that came out this past Friday, is directed by Drew Goddard and written by Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard. It stars Kristen Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, and this is actually pre-Thor Chris Hemsworth. So that just lets you know how long this movie's been floating around. Yeah. And Anna Hutchinson, and it also stars Richard Jenkins, and there's a couple other people that are in it that we'll talk about later in the spoiler section. What did you think of Cabin in the Woods?
I thought it was a good time. I had fun watching this movie. I think that you know that I'm not a big horror movie fan. Mm-hmm. I'm not really into horror movies that much. I don't know why. They just never connected with me, except for Japanese horror movies. For some reason. I don't know why. But I've never been into slasher films. I was never into Jason, Nightmare on Elm Street. I was never into any of those movies. But this was, and I really want to fast forward and get to the spoiler parts. Because, yeah, it was really fun. It was a horror movie that commented on every single horror movie that came before it.
Yep.
Which I loved.
And one thing to note is that there is a lot of comedy in this movie. It was, I thought it was very funny. I thought it was laugh out loud funny. I thought that the script was this movie's saving grace. The script is really what made this movie.
Yeah.
The dialogue was very snappy, and it breaks a lot of the horror cliches. It points them out and actively breaks them.
Essentially, the script is almost written from every person that's ever watched one of those horror movies, where you're like, why are you splitting up? Why are you what are you doing? And they sort of comment on that. But that also brought me to something that it seems like it's part of our culture now. I guess our generation, where we like to comment on everything. Sort of this whole meta thing.
Yeah.
Which self-effacing and all that.
Yeah, as far as meta goes, this movie is very meta.
Yeah, and I'm sick and tired of meta.
I'm kind of tired of the term meta. I'm also, as a side note, I'm also tired of the term trending. I hate that.
We should just do a show of things that we're tired of, because I have so many. And it's funny because I'm 28 years old, but I feel like an old man sometimes. Because of the things that I hate.
So, what would you give Cabin in the Woods out of 10?
Cabin in the Woods out of 10, I gave it a 7.
7? Good. That's good. Yeah. For not liking horror movies, I would say 7's pretty good.
Yes, and we will discuss it more in the spoilers as why I liked it. There was a reason that I really appreciated it.
Well, if you want to read my thoughts, I posted the review on the site. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Like I said, I might be upping that to an 8.5. In the review, I didn't give away any spoilers. In fact, I didn't talk about the plot of the movie at all. So it is safe to read. And if you're planning on going to see this movie, don't watch any trailers. Don't read anything about it. Just go see it cold. Because that's the way to really take something away from this movie.
Yes, it's exactly the way I did it. The only thing I saw was one trailer, because I think I watched like 30 Rock or something on my computer, and of course they always have like the trailers. That's the commercial breaks. That was the only trailer I saw. I didn't read anything about this movie. All I knew is I think it had like a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's pretty high up there.
Yeah, and I knew Josh Whedon did it because of you. Essentially, you told me that it was a good movie and everything, and that's the reason I went in not knowing anything about this movie, which definitely made it better.
Yeah, it currently has a 92%, so critics are definitely loving this movie. Let's go ahead and get into the spoiler section. As we said, if you haven't seen the movie, please fast forward through this, and we'll have the time codes in the show notes. So we are in a spoiler section now.
Spoiler zone.
What'd you think? What'd you think about the ending? Let's just start it off right from there.
The ending was perfect.
Yep.
I did see, after I watched this movie, I read, I'm hoping I get this right, I think it was Ebert's review, and Ebert said that Joss Whedon said that this was like a loving hate letter to horror movies, and it was just absolutely perfect. I loved the execution on this movie.
I didn't see it coming at all.
You know what? The funny thing is I caught it right off the bat.
Oh yeah.
Within the title credits, they were showing all the pictures of sacrifices and everything, and I was like, oh, they're making human sacrifices to the gods.
Well, see, I had some kind of idea of that, but what I didn't realize was I didn't know that they had basically every horror movie monster.
Yeah.
And I didn't pick up on that until right before they revealed it, and I had an idea because they give you hints. I think that this is a good movie to go back and rewatch because there's so many little clues and hints, but after you see it, the more you think about it, you're just like, oh shit, that's why the person acted like that, because they poisoned them and they gave them different drugs to inhibit how they feel and make them and that's kind of the funny thing, Chris Hemsworth, who you would think normally he's just the jock, he's like the womanizing jock, but in the beginning of the movie he's not like that at all, and they let you know he's kind of like the nerd, he's not like that, but as the movie progresses, you know that there's something going on, especially when they gas him and make him say, let's split up.
Yeah, and Fran Kranz, who plays Marty, the stoner, he's sort of the everyman, every person that's ever watched a horror movie. Mm-hmm. Where you're like, no, that's a terrible idea, why would you do that?
Yeah, which is funny because in the story, he was supposed to, the weed that they gave him was supposed to inhibit his, paranoia or whatever, but it had, a side effect, and it caused him to be immune to all the different gases that they were pumping into the house and stuff. So he was, immune to everything. So he knew what was going on, even though he was the stoned one. I just thought it was phenomenal from the beginning. Just the ending, the whole scene when they went down the elevator. From that point on, it was just completely out of control.
And this is my thought process behind it, and this is why I really enjoyed this movie, because as I said before, I am not a big horror fan. I don't really like horror movies at all. But to me, the ancient gods that they were sacrificing to were the American audience. Mm-hmm. That's what they were. They want the same shit over and over and over again. They don't, because they always go out. How many fucking Friday the 13th movies are there?
A lot.
How many Jason movies are there? And they even did the Jason thing where he falls into the lake and then his head pops up. It was just so formulaic and ridiculous. But the gods were like, yeah, we love it. We love it. We do this every year. And I just love that about it. And, how they sort of set everything up at their betting pool. Mm-hmm. And how Bradley Whitford's character just wants the merman so bad.
Yeah. Oh, it was so great because once everything started becoming clear, I leaned over to my girlfriend and I said, I bet we're gonna see a merman at some point in this movie.
You know it.
And luckily, we got to see a merman, and that was the other thing that I really liked, because once it became clear that each of those items in the basement were like a specific type of monster, I wanted to see them, and I was like, oh man, I wonder what would have been like if they picked the ballerina thing or whatever. And I was so glad that we got to actually see all those creatures.
And that's what I think the ending was. It was because so often there's so many people that are like, they complain about everything. It's sort of, like an internet type thing where you have the message boards and they just complain about horror movies or movies in general. And I just think that at the end it was just sort of like, you know what? Fuck it. Here's everything at once.
Yeah.
Fucking horror movie to end all horror movies. We're just going to unleash everything.
I love the the Hellraiser thing, and I thought that there were actually like I said before, it was really funny. But I did think that there were actually some scares in there. It wasn't a very scary movie, but it did have some like jump out at you type things that happened, and it was a movie that switches gears a lot. Like there was a lot of changes of pace and things like that. Richard Jenkins was awesome in it. Sigourney Weaver at the end was awesome.
Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford.
Oh yeah, they were so funny. They were so funny in that movie.
Just even the beginning part where he's talking about childproofing the house.
Yes.
He's liberating his cabinets. Because my mother has those things that he was talking about, where you open up the cabinet, but it only opens just a tiny
little
bit, and then you got to get your finger in there, and oh my god, they're frustrating as hell.
What'd you think of the opening title card?
I love when they do that.
Wasn't that awesome?
I talked about it in my review for Kill List. I love that. I absolutely love it. Where just bam in your face.
Yep. They did the same thing with Drag Me to Hell, and it was really effective in that movie too.
Yeah, that's right. They did do that. They also did it in Hannah. Mm-hmm. It's slowly making a comeback, and I love it.
The way that they did it in this movie, though, was so perfect. How they had they were in the golf cart thing, and they had just the goofy faces, and it just hits you. And it's great when you see title cards like that, because it sets the tone for the whole movie. Mm-hmm. Because
it does.
in that beginning, when they hit you with that, you know exactly what you're in store for. It's gonna be just a funny, thrilling, just a hell of a ride. And I thought that movie was just a hell of a ride, especially, like I said before, cannot say enough about the end of the movie. The whole
oh my god,
scene.
yeah, dude, it is literally a bloodbath.
Yeah,
bloodbath, and that's really what I think they were saying. It was like, here, there's no reason for you to complain anymore. Here's everything all at once.
Yep, we got everything.
Shut your mouth.
Slashers, zombies, and I like the fact that the one that they picked was the zombies. And I also like how they had the giant whiteboard in the thing that had all the different things, and the girl's like, I picked zombies, and he's like, no, those are different. The ones that they picked were like the inbred family torture zombies.
Yeah. Oh my god, yes. But and I'm trying to think, because we were discussing this last night, me and my wife. My wife, she thought it was okay, but after I explained to her about it more, she had more of an appreciation, like a respect for it. Mm-hmm. But what do you think that the upstairs represented?
The what?
Upstairs. When they were talking, when the
oh yeah,
like the tunnel was supposed to implode, but there was a power reroute from upstairs.
That I wasn't sure about. That was one thing that I was never really clear on, if they were referring to the actual gods that did that.
I see. To me, what I was thinking was downstairs was the ancient gods that they were trying to appease with their human sacrifices.
Right.
Upstairs, to me, represented all of us people that watched horror movies and want something different. Well, and they sort of forced it.
That could be it.
And the middle was Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford, which was sort of like Hollywood trying to keep everything formulaic and just same old, same old.
And I also thought, okay, well maybe the upstairs is us wanting something more. And then I thought, okay, well maybe like that was the whole point. Like the slaughter that happened in the middle, that was the sacrifice. You know what I mean? Like it was all supposed to happen like that. The group was supposed to find the people in the middle, and all of that was the ultimate. That was the ultimate sacrifices by destroying the people in the middle.
Yeah, because I also thought it was sort of like a comment at the end where he's like, "Giant ancient gods, God, I wish we got to see that."
Yeah, and then they have the giant hand come up. I thought that was awesome. It was definitely a movie where any other horror movie where you're like, oh, I wish I could have seen that. You see everything in this movie, which is really cool.
Plus, like I said earlier, they sort of make a comment on Japanese horror films and foreign horror films and all that stuff is how they fail. They can't. It's not a bloodbath. Mm-hmm. They don't kill people in their horror movies like we do.
I loved how they did that too with all the different monitors that had the different countries and the different styles of horror movies that were in each of those respective countries. Mm-hmm. And I loved the Japanese one and all the kids with the flowers in the bowl. And how hard is it to kill 9-year-olds?
Oh, that brings me to my point. Yesterday when I told you that I have a movie-going experience that I wanted to talk about because, you had one for the raid. When we went to see Cabin in the Woods, there was probably 10 people in the theater. Now, again, we went at like 4:55 in the afternoon. Now, the place that I go to, a lot of times when we go to see movies during the day, there is some... I don't know if they're volunteers or family members or what, but they usually bring in, like, mentally handicapped people to watch movies.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So, during the movie, it's dark. I can't see who else is in there. But during the part, number one, they're just speaking out loud the entire time. I mean, not in hushed tones, just out loud.
Oh.
And the part where they show that Japan has failed... and Bradley Whitford is going, fuck you, fuck you. This woman just starts yelling out loud, fuck you, yeah, fuck you. So at first, I'm thinking back to numerous other times when there's mentally handicapped people in there. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to get too angry because they're mentally handicapped. But then at the end of the movie, I'm curious. I'm like, I want to know who that was. So I look. It's a older gentleman. I don't want to say gentleman. Yeah. And a woman. Get up. Number one, the guy has like the most luscious, snowy white mullet I've ever seen in my entire life. And, they're both like in their 50s, and they just look like trailer trash. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Here I was throughout the whole movie, like, trying not to judge because I thought they were mentally handicapped. But no, they were just pieces of shit. Yeah, they were just pieces of shit.
Racist. Oh, well, I think that's a good note to end on with this segment. Definitely go see The Cabin in the Woods. Definitely worth it. We're out of the spoiler zone now, so you won't hear any more spoilers. Welcome back for those of you that fast-forwarded through. Let's quickly go over our predictions for this week's upcoming movies. This is where we like to give what we think the Rotten Tomatoes percentage is going to be for movies coming out this Friday. Okay, so first we have The Lucky One with Zac Efron and Blythe Danner.
Oh, God.
U.S. Marine Sergeant Logan Thibault, who's played by Zac Efron, returns from his third tour of duty in Iraq with the one thing he credits with keeping him alive, a photograph he found of a woman he doesn't even know. Prediction.
Are you kidding me? This is a tough one because it's a fucking Nicholas Sparks novel. So I want to say that it's going to be terrible, but at the same time, it's a Nicholas Sparks novel, and those usually do somewhat well. So I'm going to say in between, like 48%.
So we'll say, so you're saying 48 on that one?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 45.
Oh.
I'm going to say 45 just so I can hit the low end. Next we have Think Like a Man. This is based on the Steve Harvey book. What a week. Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm going to start this one off by saying, okay, based on Steve Harvey's best-selling book, Think Like a Man follows 4 interconnected and diverse men whose love lives are shaken up after the ladies they are pursuing buy Harvey's book and start taking his advice to heart. Oh, talk about cross-promotion. Holy shit. This stars Steve Harvey as well. Gabrielle Union, Kevin Hart, and Michael Ealy.
Just like everyone is in this movie. Taraji P. Henson.
Turtle.
Is Turtle in it?
I think so.
Yes, he is. Holy shit. Romani Malco, Gabrielle Union, Lala Anthony. Chris Brown is in this goddamn movie.
Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna start this, and I'm gonna say 32%.
I'm going 22.
Okay, that's a 22 for Kevin, 32 for Adam. Let's move on. Chimpanzee. This is the Disney nature documentary. It's a true life adventure that introduces Oscar, a baby chimp whose playful curiosity and zest for discovery light up the African forest until a twist of fate leaves Oscar to fend for himself with a little help. I'm going to say 92%.
Yeah, it's a chimp.
It's narrated by Tim Allen as well.
Yes, it is. That might drop it slightly.
I don't think it will. I think it's going to be high. It's going to be up there.
What did you give it? 93?
92.
I'll go with 93 then.
Okay. I think you're going to win that, actually. That's it for wide releases. So.
Oh, are you serious?
Yep,
That's all we have.
That's it for next week. It's going to be a rough week for the site.
Yeah, you know how earlier you said that I'm going to try and get this guy's good movies to watch.
I know.
Not happening.
Nope.
Unless you give them all a chimpanzee.
Give them all. I think. I'm sure my girlfriend's gonna want to go see Chimpanzee, so I'll probably end up going to see it. It looks really sad. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, it will be. So. It's a chimp. Chimps are awesome.
Yeah.
Kidding me?
And that does it for another show. For all the latest film news and reviews, visit filmpulse.net, and we want to hear your feedback. Send us an email at podcast@filmpulse.net or call our voicemail line 850-391-6075. And please take a minute to rate us on iTunes. We greatly appreciate that. All you gotta do is just log into iTunes, type in Film Pulse, and give us a 5-star rating because we're awesome. And if you want to take a few extra minutes, you can write a nice review for us. For filmpulse.net, my name is Adam.
I'm Kevin.
And we will see you on Tuesday for DVD and Blu-ray releases.